look, ultimately, you got to look at it this way, friends. Barcelona wanted to keep this star young striker, offer him new deals, as much money as they could, but he's coming to Chelsea.
Way so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
What's happening, friends? Welcome back to the channel, Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well. I'm also learning English at the moment, as you can probably tell. Really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, of course, the twice daily series here on the channel at the moment, where I help you navigate the transfer window for Chelsea Football Club, giving you all aggregated news, my thoughts on it, and opening up to you guys in the comments. As always, today we're referencing the Athletics. It's the deal sheet, I believe they call it. Is it the deal sheet? What do they already call it? They're like weekly. Yes, the deal sheet. Their sort of weekly roundup of all the big transfer news, and they've got a subcategory of Chelsea. And of course, there's multiple journalists and people at the moment confirming Marc Guiu to Chelsea. We'll speak about that as well. So it's going to be a ding-dong of a video, hopefully, friends. As always, thanks for joining me. Thank you for supporting the content. Super simple to do so. You just like and subscribe if you want to subscribe, of course. But if you do choose to, hit the bell. And yeah, look, why not like a video? It's just a millisecond of your life. And apparently, it's good for YouTubers and content creators still. But yeah, thanks. All right, mate. Let's start off with the deal sheet from The Athletic, and then Cy Phillips on X, formerly known as Twitter, has cited a few international journalists and reporters all confirming the news about Marc Guiu. So we'll talk about that. But first of all, let's jump into this deal sheet segment on Chelsea. So what's happened this week? Well, of course, it's been another busy week with one of the club's decision to pull out, to pull out of the deal to sign Michael Olise from Crystal Palace, easy for me to say, before he opted to join Bayern Munich, causing the biggest stir. By the way, I read on social media, he wants to go to Bayern Munich for Champions League football and the opportunity to work with Vincent Kompany. Are young players starry-eyed? Like, I want to work with this. He's not even like, fair enough. Like, if Olise was like a high-profile centre-back and, you know, a bit of a leader, you know, yeah, I'd get it. Vincent Kompany, he could offer all this stuff. But as like a manager, I'm not saying Kompany's bad. I think he probably has got a high ceiling, and maybe Bayern Munich see that. But 22-year-old wingers surely aren't going, you know what? My ambition is to be coached by Vincent Kompany. I don't know, man. Anyway, he's gone to Bayern. Let's read on. Chelsea were given permission, of course, by Palace to speak to the 22-year-old the week before. While cautiously optimistic about their chances, Chelsea did not believe they were favourites because they were aware of 3 to 5 clubs, including Bayern, of course, who were also keen. Chelsea's failure to qualify for next season's Champions League put them at a disadvantage. But Olise, this is it, man. Olise's wage demands were the decisive factor. So all you man out there have said we fumbled this deal. It just wasn't feasible, you know. It wasn't feasible. A decisive factor. The cost of the transfer was just deemed too high, and it's the Nico Williams thing as well. You know, this is just where we're at. It is the latest sign Chelsea will pull out of deals if they do not meet their valuation. They offered €7 million plus add-ons for Sport Recife, right back Pedro Lima, but Wolves gazumped them this month by bidding €10 million and including a 12.5% sell-on clause, which is actually an extensive increase in offer. They remain active in the market. An offer for this, and of course this is collectively blown out of minds, an offer of 32.5 million plus add-ons was made for Atletico Madrid striker forward Samu Amoradurian. It was rejected, of course. Other attacking players are being targeted. Now, Samu, by the way, we did look, he has got strong shooting stats, and I guess it was very much a transfer target of profiling. Like, they probably put the numbers all into their supercomputer, and he came up with, you know, John Duran, Samu Amoradurian, and whatever. So, that's what I think there. And that was probably a response from, of course, Benjamin Sesko staying at RB Leipzig, who's yet to catch fire in the Euros as well, the centre forward, which, you know, people are sort of waiting for him to do something. Chelsea, of course, have agreed a £19 million fee for Aston Villa's academy prodigy. Prodigy. We want to hear that word. That's the kind of stuff you want to hear, especially when we're all thinking that, oh, it's just some random kid that we're swapping for PSR reasons. But prodigy, that's what we want to hear. Amari Kellyman, of course, he's like an attacking midfielder, second striker kind of profile. That should be officially completed shortly, so we'll wait on that. Checks watch. Negotiations have also begun with Boca Juniors defender Aaron Anselmino. I haven't really looked at this kid. We've referenced the story quite a lot here on the channel. Aaron Anselmino, again, another teenager. He is a defender, though, rather than an attacker. I mean, the only thing that would make this more, like, eye-rolling is if he was a left-footed right winger. But no, he's a defender, so we'll see what happens there. So, importantly, the first significant sale is close to completion, which, of course, is Aston Villa buying a left-back, Ian Martin, for £37.5 million sterling. Just seeing that number on the screen makes me think, damn! It's a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. Him and Lewis Hall made peas, man. I mean, of course, Armando Bria is out of the Euros now. Albania didn't really do anything. I mean, they sort of had a go at Albania, didn't they? But they, yeah, I would have, even if he just got like a couple of goals, would have done him so good. But, alas, not meant to be. Bria, I know I'm on a fleeting tangent here, but Bria remains to be one of these players that... I mean, obviously scored a few goals for Southampton, but he's never really popped off. Yet he retains a lot of interest because people know. Again, it's a profiling thing. It's like, you know, we've just been saying this about Samu and John Duran and stuff like that. Like, people look at them and go, right, he could theoretically do this, but it's a dangerous game. You know, I mean, obviously you do have to do a lot of psychological profiling of a player as well. Like, because an example is at Chelsea, Mykhailo Mudryk. He is a maybe what-if player, but he could play a sort of thing. You know, like, look at the numbers, look at the profile, look at the raw, powerful materials that this guy could be an incredible asset. But I don't know if it's a psychological... Look, he's ambitious, Mudryk, but there's also, like, a frailty there. It seems like a psychological frailty, which, like, prevents him from really... getting over that line. And maybe if he like smashes through that ceiling, it'll just be great forever. Mudryk, I haven't written him off, but yeah, you know, there's a lot of stuff you need to look at when you buy a player. But you know, Bria retains interest because they look at him and go, well, he's fast, he's strong, he's a good finisher, he's this, that, and the other. But maybe his head drops. I just wonder if his head drops a little bit, you know. Anyway, we'll see if we can sell Bria and get the P's like we did with Hall and Martin and whatnot. Does the interest in Omar and Duran mean Chelsea will go for a striker this summer? This has always been part of the plan because Chelsea want competition for Nicholas Jackson. The club now see the aim as being a bit less specific. Chelsea are targeting one or two attacking players rather than committing to a central striker. That's interesting. Head coach Enzo Maresca prefers to play with just one centre forward, and there are already other options in the squad who can lead the line, such as Christopher Nkunku. But unlike Samu, unlike Duran, unlike Guiu, which we'll speak about in a moment, Nkunku isn't a, you know, bread and butter centre forward. Nkunku is like a bit of a shadow striker, attacking midfielder. So it did sort of seem like Chelsea were looking for a centre forward, looking for that number 9. But young Marc Guiu is a number 9, which is referenced here. Chelsea are in advanced discussions with the advisors of Barcelona striker Marc Guiu. The 18-year-old has a €6 million release clause in his contract. The club are wary that Barcelona could still offer Guiu a new deal. Apparently they have. We'll speak about that in a second. Or that other teams may attempt to buy him. However, they have spoken to his representatives on more than one occasion and feel they have put themselves in a strong position. He is being seen as a Chelsea acquisition and not a Strasbourg one. So for these people who are like, oh, he's a teenager, Strasbourg, da-da-da-da-da. No, Chelsea. Of course, Strasbourg are in the multi-club model, and already used as an alternative venue to develop players. We've seen players go there, like the Brazilian Santos and Angelo Gabriel and stuff like that. Let's read on. There are 5 to 7 players under consideration for the attacking positions. Of course, Lille's Jonathan David is admired, as reported by The Athletic. I did a video on John Duran. He is you can like turn your nose up at it all at once, like, oh, we went from Victor Osimhen to Benjamin Sesko to the... Well, firstly, Victor Osimhen's unrealistic for a lot of reasons. And it's not even like he's like been popping off recently for club and country. Seshko's not available. So Jonathan David is a high... If you wanted to lean into the sort of these names that you've seen scoring goals for a few years, Jonathan David is that guy, you know. So there's that for an option. Chelsea are looking at him. Of course, John Duran is still on the wish list, although interest is cooled, which I find quite interesting. Maybe that's because Chelsea have concluded business with Aston Villa, of course, doing the academy player swap thing. Not swap, but, you know, separate deals. Another bid for Omorudorin has not been ruled out, but Chelsea are wary of Atletico's valuation being higher than what they paid, of course, for Jackson. I just don't want to pay, you know, Atleti that much money. Hoffenheim's Maximilian Bier is not considered one of the front runners either. Okay. Chelsea have all but ruled out, of course, signing Spain international Nico Williams, as the total cost of the deal is regarded as too expensive. Yeah, same as Michael Olise, not worth it. And, people are like, oh, Chelsea are just really tight, they don't like to spend money. I mean, that's a joke. Wait, before you start saying, oh, do you want to spend any money, Chelsea are really tight with their wallet. No, we're not. We've spent £1 billion recently, and they're like... It's so funny, isn't it, with, like, football fans, like, Chelsea fans, like, on social media, down the pub, or if you speak to them, like, oh, we're just throwing money around, we're just spending money, like, you know, randomly, we spent too much money, and now they're like, we're not spending enough money, you know, people want to moan, don't they? They'll always find a way to moan. But yeah, we've made heavy investment on certain players in Kunku, you know, Fernandez, Casemiro? No, Caicedo. Not Casemiro. I think that would have been a bit of a waste of money. Lavia and loads of other players. There's been heavy investment. And I know the first transfer window under the new ownership was a bit of a disaster. But again, of course, you guys know I'm a fan of Wesley Fofana. I think 69 million, while a heavy investment, represents value for what it could be the best defender in the Premier League. In my opinion. Game of opinions. So, of course, Boca Juniors are prepared to sell a defender for Aaron Anselmino for around £20 million. It's a lot of peas for a Boca Juniors teenage defender. But, you know, they probably see where the vibe is at the moment, that you can make money out of young players if you sell them to Chelsea. Chelsea are in talks, but, of course, we want to sign them for a lower sum. Oh, we're going to circle back around to Marc Guiu in a moment, by the way, guys. So which players could be leaving? Chelsea are aiming to complete 75% of their ins and outs within the next few weeks. Martin's departure to Villa is just the start. Of course, the aforementioned Breyer is the next situation to keep a close eye on. He's been away at Euros with Albania, but now their tournament is over. The striker can sort his future out. So yeah, despite being in underwhelming form for a long time, Brewer is still wanted by Everton and Wolves in the Premier League, plus teams abroad that are playing in the Champions League. At least a couple of Champions League clubs from Europe want Brewer. I think I just sneeze. False alarm. So yes, Champions League clubs abroad and Premier League clubs looking at him. Chelsea value the 22-year-old Armando Brewer at £35 million, which still feels like a lot of money to me, but you know, if he does become good, it will be seen as great value. If he lives up to his potential, it would be represented as great value. But I do worry for the young man. It's expected Everton will have to sell Calvert-Lewin. See one to watch. They did a segment on him to buy Calvert-Lewin. Under Ancelotti, Calvert-Lewin looked like the backup to Harry Kane, England's next great striker, but never really happened for him. You know, he's still young enough, I think. So with Chelsea boasting strong midfield options, Cesare Casadei's departure is a possibility. Chelsea rate the 21-year-old highly, but will understand if he requests to move on. He enjoyed positive loan spells at Reading and Leicester City, of course, where he played under the new Chelsea manager, Enzo Maresca. So he will still command a higher fee than what Chelsea paid. It would represent profit. And after we bought him, by the way, he still had that amazing, you know, international Italy performances and in the under first team ages. I can't talk. In the developmental ages, under 21 ages. You know what I mean. There is interest, but Chelsea have not received a bid. But he's a great player, isn't he, Cesare Cassidy? This is interesting. Defender Alfie Gilchrist is going to be loaned out. Yeah, makes sense. One of the clubs who are keen this is interesting, our Serie A side, Como, who have just been promoted, of course, into the Serie A, who are managed by former Chelsea midfielder Cesc Fabregas, who's been excellent, by the way, doing punditry for the Euros. Yeah, Cesc really coming to the fore. People are starting to think about him today, speaking very methodically as a pundit. Analyst, and as a coach, there's video clips of him in the dressing room, like really, riling up players, shouting, and of course he's fresh out of the game, Cesc, and he knows what young people are like, and it's not like, and he was a genius, wasn't he, Cesc? Like, people don't talk about Cesc Fabregas like they do, I don't know, like a Modric or stuff like that, but Cesc was a genius, like an assist machine, and of course had an experience with Arsenal in English football, went to Barcelona, did well there, went to, won the Euros of Spain, playing as a false 9 striker. He's played deeper, he's played in, he won the Premier League when he came to Chelsea. He had to, win the trust of Antonio Conte, remember, because Conte thought he was a little bit of a sort of light and fluffy player, do you know what I mean? But the second season, Conte switched formation, I don't know if you guys remember, to a 3-5-2. He took an attacker out just to accommodate Fabregas in the midfield, because he was like, okay, he's working hard, in incredible shape. And Cesc said that's one of the best things he's done in his career, proving to Conte that he can do it, because he had to really get into lethal shape. So Fabregas is a great character and a great candidate. Like, when people talk about future Chelsea managers, they're sort of talking about Thiago Silva and kind of like Cesc Fabregas now, because Lampard, that sort of dream is fading a bit. It looks like it's not going to be John Terry. So now you're sort of looking a little bit broader. You're looking at not so much like the Hall of Fame legends, but the sort of cult hero semi-legends like Fabregas and Thiago Silva. I really do need to sneeze. 1 second. Got it. Oh, satisfying. Oh. Yeah. So Alfie Gilchrist, maybe to Como. That would be dope, if you ask me. And the Spaniard visited Chelsea's training ground last month, and Preston, like him too, in the Championship. Both would be great loans, if you ask me. Alright, mate, back to Marc Guiu. I'm going to use Cy Phillips' X account, social media account, X. Citing a few people here. Luis Rocco, he's saying an agreement and decision made. Marc Guiu will sign for Chelsea, who will pay €6 million, which is the buyout clause. Barca offered him 2 million gross net salary plus variables, but England just kept tipping the offer. We kept offering more money. Barcelona wanted to keep him. Mate Moreto saying Marc Guiu's move for Chelsea is imminent. And Romano also is saying it's in the final stages. So guys, that's like Fabrizio Romano there. And so guys, look, ultimately, it's a striker. It's a young striker. I know everyone likes old players, or they want a little bit of seniority. But the Chelsea squad's a year older, moving into this next season, including already senior players like Christopher Nkunku, who should be fit and firing and good to go. And maybe we don't need some 30-year-old striker up there. Do you know what I mean? Who's going to command loads of wages. It is interesting that Marc Guiu, is being targeted for Chelsea, not Strasbourg. And by hearing that, it's got to be the first team, right? Surely. Because it's not like, we don't want to send him to Strasbourg because we want him playing in the under-21s. That sort of... He's not going to want to be I'm speculating here to a degree, but allow me, if you'll permit me to do so. He's not going to go from being this hyped kid at Barcelona, Xavi giving him his debut, scoring on his debut, being talked about, Barcelona trying to offer him a massive pay rise to stay as much as they can to work within their, debilitated financial limits, to go and play for Chelsea's development team at Kings Meadow. He might play some games there, but surely that's not it. I mean, maybe he is. I don't know. But anyway, it's Chelsea, and it's not Strasbourg. It's Chelsea, and it's not Barcelona. which is funny because if he becomes a really good player at Chelsea, I'm sure he'll sign a 47-year contract because that's just what we do. And, Barca are the old enemy for Chelsea, so if we take one of their superstar, starlets, and he becomes a really useful asset for that, that can only represent fun for me as a Chelsea fan. But as always, let me know what you think. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for commenting down below. Great conversations between you guys down there. Road to 185,000 subs, so thank you for subscribing. And keep it locked. I will upload this evening, so turn the bell on if you choose to subscribe. Alright, peace.